Djay Pro Pitch Cue Tutorial. I think this is a really cool feature that they added in the update, and I'm going to show you all about it. Oh yeah! Okay, so Djay Pro has introduced some really groundbreaking new features in their version 4 update, and in this video I'm going to talk about what they did with the cue point section. I believe that cue points are very important and that every DJ should have every song in their playlist cue pointed out so they know when to start, when to stop, good acapellas, and they know the information from the song just by looking at the cue points. And now with these new updates, they made it easier, and they also added in some fun effects with the pitch cue. So real quick, I'm going to show you guys how to set these cue points, how to change the color, and how to change the name, because the color coordination makes it so much easier to spot your cue points. So let's go over here. We will start with this one. So to add a cue point, you just press plus. So there we go. And now we're going to name this. So you click over here, and now you have these colors. So a good idea is to do your start cue points in green, your end cue points in red, and then name them. So this will be start. And we are going to make this one pink. So that is start. And now let's just say this one is going to be our end. And we're going to put this in red. And we're going to write end. And now if you press the pencil off, it gets rid of the selection. So now if you look at the waveforms up here, you see that the pink one we set is pink and the red one we set is red. This is going to stay on this track until you change it, no matter if you log out of the app, if you load up another track, or if you are using Djay with your account on a different device. This song will always have these cue points saved there. So every song that you have in your playlist, you should have at least, please, at least have the start and the end cue points, and then come up with a color code that makes sense to you. If you think green is good to start, have it be green. If you think blue is good to start, have it be blue. It's whatever color will catch your eyes. And I haven't plugged it into a controller yet, so I'm not sure if it changes the actual pads on the controller, but I'm going to check that out soon. Okay, so at first I plugged in the Numark Djay to Go To Touch, and it didn't change the pads, but I realized that this controller doesn't have different colored pads, but the Reloop Buddy does. So let's look over here. Now this pink one that you see how it's pink? We go over here to change the color, and now watch the color change on the pad. It changes there. The red is really noticeable, the blue is noticeable, and the yellows and green are noticeable. So not only will you be able to see these colored coded cue points on your screen, on the waveforms, on the big view of the waveforms, and on the small view of the waveforms, now your controller will be color coordinated, so you will know exactly where all these cue points are. Now, this new version 4 update made a lot of big changes to what happens when you plug a controller in, and I'm going to talk about that on another video, but I was just really excited to see what happens when you change the color on these cue points. It happens almost instantly, and I think it's just the coolest thing. And when you press them, they light up even more. So test out the controllers that you have. Some controllers, like the Numark Djay to Go To Touch, will not change colors, and controllers like the Reloop Buddy, and other more advanced controllers will have this feature. So I was just really excited and wanted to plug it in, and I'm really happy that it actually does that. Over to the pitch cues. So essentially what this does is it allows you to pitch up and pitch down your hot cues with a touch of a button. So instead of having to press the Q and adjust the tempo slider or adjust another effect or something like that, now we have access to these pitch cues. So I'm going to show you what it sounds like. So this is 0. So that is just a regular Q. It would be the same thing as if you pressed the Q button regular. And now +1, a little higher pitch, +2, higher pitch, +3, much higher pitch. And now let's go to -4. Then -3, -2, and -1. So you guys can make separate melodies and beats with this by playing the drum machine with these cues. So mess around with it. That wasn't a really good example. But as you guys mess around with it and pick songs that you want maybe certain vocals, and you guys can pitch them up, pitch them down, play around with it, and it's a lot of fun. But you have to select which cue point that you're using. This took me a little bit to figure out. So right now it is set to this pink cue point. But if you go over here, now you could switch it from start to end. So if you want to switch your cue points, you have to go over here, switch it to the color and the cue point that you want. And now you have access to pitch up and pitch down these cues. Another feature that they have improved upon with the version 4 update involving the cue points is the slicer mode. They made it more advanced and easier to use. So we'll get a cue point over there. We'll go to slice mode. And now up here on this drop down, you can adjust it. So you could go all the way down to 1/8 of a beat or all the way up to 1 beat. I'm going to put it at half. And now you could have it jump to, it can quantize jump, which means it's going to snap and be in sync as soon as you use the slicer and as soon as you take it off. And then you could have it from 4 beats to 8 beats. So these numbers represent the beats. And then you could quickly start an 8-bar loop by pressing this little loop button. And it will automatically put on an 8-bar loop, and you could bring it up and bring it down. But every time you turn it back on, it'll be 8 bars. So I'll show you what it sounds like. So this is without a loop on. And you see it going, counting 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if you hold it in, it will do that half-bar repeat. And then the song will still be going, and then it'll snap back to where you let go. And now if you set the 8-bar loop, and you guys can make melodies like that, and then take the loop off and go back into the song. So this is good if you want to take a scratching break, or if you want to do some drum pad, play the drums with these. There's a lot of stuff you could do. You get really creative with it, and especially if you have a controller with some good responsive pads, you can make some really cool melodies and beats with this and really spice up your mixes. So if you're interested in learning what else has changed with the new updates in Djay Pro, the future of DJing, and everything to do with DJing on the iPad, subscribe to my channel. I make DJ videos every day.